Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Connected Live. As you can see today, instead of being at the barn, I'm at my house. The dogs, Balder and Thor, are resting peacefully over in their beds. So that's why I'm not on the floor with them. I have two Connected Lives that I want to do. I decided to do this one first. I wanted to give an update about Balder's health because Balder is such a complex health issue that a lot of times me sharing what he's going through really helps others kind of wake up to what more they can do for their pets, especially now during the pandemic. It's like vets are overwhelmed because, as Joy and I were talking about the other day, and Joy's the head of Rescue Me Incorporated, she's the chairman of the board, and we talk pretty much every day. But we were discussing how all the vets all over the country are overwhelmed because people are staying home. And because they're staying home, they're noticing more things about their pets and their pets' health more than ever before because, they're home staring at the dog and not at their offices. And so that's good because people are becoming more health aware, but really hard for a lot of the vets because some of them are booked like 5-6 weeks out that are really great vets. So I will share about Balder's health maybe tomorrow. But today I wanted to talk about the human animal and what's going on in our environment right now with all the health challenges with, COVID-19. So I continue to see on Facebook people screaming mask, anti-mask, pro-mask. God, people are still calling each other names on the internet. You're stupid, you're lazy, inconsiderate, selfish. Wow. You will never, ever, ever, ever get your point across if you start attacking people. Whether you're right, wrong, it's indifferent. Emotional literacy and communication skills. Talk about like COVID-19 really putting a fine point on the fact that everybody is so reactionary and so stressed out that they lose all ability to have a communication that is with common decency. And you can make a point, but then stop. You may not always convince people of your point, but then stop, especially if you're on another person's page. So COVID-19, I'm going to throw my hat in again. It has been a very inconsistent way of handling. So no matter what side you're on with government, I don't care who you voted for, the pandemic has really not been handled appropriately. So what do I mean by that? Masks would have been effective initially better if used with an overall strategy. So there are supplements. There's a vitamin cocktail that's been proven to help people. So one thing overall healthcare has not really promoted is, getting blood work from people to look at their base level, where are their vitamin D at, where are their minerals are at, where their Bs are at. All the things that help make the body's engine strong enough to overcome things. Now, I'm coming at this from a place of, hi, I'm a cancer survivor. I have autoimmune disease. I'm 50 years old. I've had respiratory challenges up until about 20 years ago when I changed everything in my life. I got pneumonia like 3 or 4 times a year up until the age of 23. I had bronchitis all the time, sinusitis. They used to take me around the hospital because my sinus infections were so massive in the back sinuses, and they obviously wanted to operate on that and, behind the walls of my eye and beneath the wall of my brain, which was no thank you. And I really had to change everything to get my health back. And so I still have autoimmune. And I'm insulin resistant, pre-diabetic, due to all the damage I did to myself in my youth taking too many antibiotics because that's what the doctors pushed for me, and they literally destroyed my health. That's why I went all holistic. So anyway, what do I mean by a comprehensive plan with COVID-19? I mean that masks would have been effective had they been used in an overall strategy and tactics that was complete. So Western medicine is never going to be a complete solution. It's very siloed in its logic and how it thinks. It doesn't mean it's not relevant. It means it's not complete. Whereas if you take an integrative medicine point of view and react from there, then you have the best of Western medicine and then you have the best of holistic. Now, if our taxpayer money, we the people's money, meaning all the taxes that you pay, went to go pay for a vaccine and relief packages were given, why not include, like, get a major company like Solgar or the larger companies out there that do vitamins, and why not partner with them as well and say, every American get this vitamin cocktail that promises to minimize or reduce the issues if and when you're exposed. So if you wore the mask initially, maybe isolated high-risk populations only, distributed the vitamin cocktail that has been proven to help people with instructions, and given that for free, and then maybe you wouldn't have had to have shut down the whole country. You would have minimized the ICU cases. You would have reduced the burden on the hospitals. And this whole thing would not be where it's at right now. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you're a Johnny-come-lately, blah, blah, blah. You're saying this all after the fact. There were a lot of medical practitioners, virologists, I don't even think I said that right, immunologists standing up for taking a look at vitamins that the body needs in order to bolster its immune system. Like, most people are vitamin D deficient. You need K to go with D, you need C, you need zinc to stop the replication, and a few other things. If we had all had that on top of them exploring Western medicine options, like in certain cases, giving an antibacterial or an antibiotic with a steroid has helped so many people. And even right now, I had somebody I know close to me got exposed. They started having some symptoms. They had to ask for the bloody steroid. The doctors are not across the board just giving medication. They say if you start to have symptoms, stay home. Okay, why aren't the doctors recommending giving an antibacterial, an antibiotic which would reduce the secondary problems from the virus, because you get a bacterial infection because the lungs and everything start to suffer. But then the steroids have been proven effective because this thing really nails the lungs. Why not be prescribing that to everybody that starts to even having mild symptoms? Because then you're hitting it with the vitamin cocktail, the antibiotic, and the steroid, giving people the best shot at staying out of the hospitals and rebounding a lot faster. I mean, don't get me started on the test. The testing of COVID-19 has really, there's just so much evidence that that test was never designed for this problem, and that it pops false positives and false negatives all the time. And that's a problem. So, I mean, if you look at how divisively it's been used by all politicians, not one side or the other, all of them, it makes you kind of wonder why. And maybe it is just all about money. I don't know. But if you look at it from a strategy perspective and tactics perspective, not everything was done. But that's because of our society en masse not accepting the partnership with holistic medicine, like vitamins and food. Like, if you're so concerned about the population going down and shutting down the country and destroying the economy and destroying middle America because small businesses, and so much of the funding of the money has gone to larger businesses that are usually linked to certain politicians and the businesses they own. Again, the corruption is just at every level, both sides of the fence, not just one. So if you look at it, okay, it's being used divisively, but the American public, again, we the people, has to be active citizenship. It was always designed to be active citizenship. We need to look at these studies, and Fauci is not even talking about the vitamins. Like, your body is a machine. It's a mechanism. If you give it all the nutrients it needs, and get the blood work to prove it. You don't have to work with somebody like me, but you get your blood work done. Find out where your D is at. Find out where your B is at. Find out where your minerals are at. If you're giving your body the optimum and you're eating better, you're going to be able to fight this thing off more often than not. I'm not saying that people aren't dying, because they are, but they are usually people like me that are extremely immune compromised. Again, I'll say it again, I'm in the high risk category. And I've decided to just continue my protocols of building my immune system. My doctor kind of chuckled at me and said, you're stronger probably than the average person with no immune issues because of how much you do to take care of yourself. And then again, I'll have people make comments on here, poor people across the nation can't afford what you're saying. That's why I said initially, if government is willing to fund with taxpayer money this vaccine, which is so unstable, they're already, like within a day of it being brought out in the UK, already massive reactions, allergic reactions, and they're saying only take the vaccine where resuscitation equipment is available. Oh man, that does not inspire confidence. And they've already now said, oh, people with extreme allergic reactions weren't part of the trials or the tests. I'm in that category. So I can't take this vaccine, and I'm going to be careful, but I'm not going to hide the rest of my life. And I'm certainly going to take all the vitamins and minerals that I need to in order to keep my body where it's at. Like, I'm 50 years old. I don't have special lighting. I've got weird shadows. And I don't do Botox, and I don't have a lot of money to do all the crazy stuff that people do. Do I have a little bit of makeup on? Yeah, you can see I have a little bit of eye makeup, but in general, this is the way I look. You can tell by my hair not being brushed. Sorry about that. Early in the morning, and I've got a lot of appointments today. So I think we, the people, should insist on doing our homework more, being more proactive. I was reading a post on Facebook, and a person said, a family member doesn't believe in the pandemic, and now has infected all of us, and we're scared to death. And I'm like, oh, wow, stop. So, writing on Facebook about how scared they are, rather than, okay, what else can I do? I've been exposed. Let's be proactive. Let's be empowered. This thing has a very high survival rate. So let's focus on that. What can I do? Take extra vitamin D. I don't do that on your own because most people, you don't know how many clients, new ones. I take vitamin D. Great. Are you taking K with that? And they're like, what's K? And I'm like, oh, yeah, people, you've got to work with a practitioner or a medical doctor that understands vitamins, because if you take D without K, it can be toxic and not helpful and not absorb, blah, blah, blah. So you have to also take vitamins really responsibly. And yes, for certain cases, you can take really high doses for a period of time to back an infection down, but then you have to know and consult when to back that down. And you have to know how much a person actually needs. And so that's why the blood work is always a great baseline. So here I am, a medical intuitive. I have a pristine reputation in my practice helping people and animals. And I'm saying, do the research, do the homework, and work with somebody. I have somebody that I work with, happens to be an integrative medicine medical doctor. And I love my doctor, and he's awesome. And if I have questions about something, he's so awesome. It's just somebody to bounce off questions that I have about my health. It's like I turned 50 and I was having some really weird issues. And I was like, but I'm covering all my challenges. Like, I have adrenal gland failure. I will be on adrenal supplements for the rest of my life just because of what I did to myself. So I was like, are my adrenals acting up? Do I need to change what I'm taking for my adrenals? And it turns out I hit 50, menopause, thyroid. So I ended up having to take certain minerals for the thyroid, which then everything balanced out and I went back to my normal, happy, energetic self. So everybody needs help, no matter how good you are of a practitioner, and you have to be able to go look for help. So just because your medical doctor is not advising things, educate yourself. Find out about the steroids that are being used. Find out about the antibiotics that are being used. Find out about the vitamin cocktail. Go talk to your doctor about that. And yes, maybe suggest to your governors and your mayors, hey, if all this money is being allocated for this vaccine and other helps, then why wouldn't we arm the population with the correct vitamins to minimize the severity of the cases? Why are we just telling people, if you have symptoms, stay at home for 15 days and wait and see what happens? Oh my God, talk about giving people anxiety attacks. give them something proactive to do. Vitamins and breathing exercises, all kinds of things can be done. It's just heartbreaking to see the failure in the overall strategy. Now, you'll think to yourselves, well, how's she qualified? For those who know me, I specialized in mass communications, public relations, and the thought process around public relations is you're always looking at worst case scenario and devising a plan, because you got to get your clients through. The other thing is, I attended law school, and in law school, you always think of worst case scenario, never ask a question you don't have the answer to. So I'm a very strategic and tactical thinker, besides being an intuitive at the level that I am. And a medium and psychic and all that stuff. So I'm very much a person that was trained classically in education to be proactive. Look at what could happen and what steps can be taken. Always be the proactive person coming from love and confidence. If you go into the victim energy and start using blame as your daily modus operandi, you're to blame, dad's to blame, this person infected me, then you're not going to get anywhere very fast, and you're going to be miserable and anxious and depressed and everything else. But if you get proactive and educate yourself and work with a quality practitioner, and start flooding your mayor's offices and your governor's offices and say, hey, for all the people who can't afford it, why don't we start distributing the vitamin cocktail using an integrative medical doctor to make the recommendations? There are plenty of amazing MDs that have gone integrative medicine because they see the benefits of a holistic approach to anything. They're not going to silo what they do and only give themselves in that narrow little vein of help. They're going to look at the whole thing. You can never find an effective solution without looking at the big picture, the overall strategy. And then you create tactics within the individual in order to help them, whether it's a business problem, a legal problem, or a health issue. It's all the same, just different context. So I'm out here just promoting, the fact is, it's still not too late. We can really, this doesn't have to be a bleak winter. I'm just so pissed off at the messages. It's going to be a long, bleak winter. We're going to shut down the country again. Oh, yes. Let us demolish what's left of the middle class and make Walmarts and the big conglomerates the only choices we have. I mean, makes absolutely no sense for this country. So why not create a strategy instead of claiming gloom and doom and only relying on Western medicine? Let's get this vitamin cocktail out there. Let's figure out how to fund it for people that can afford it. And those who can afford it, go to your practitioners and stock up on your vitamins. And let's make these really quality, good, holistic companies, let's make them prosper. Let's make more jobs that way. Let's make things more positive that way. And why in heaven's sakes is not the FDA also aiming both barrels at toxic food companies like the big conglomerates? Why not insist that better quality food be served to the American public? Because we know the American public is, they're going to go for their dollar meals, bargains, and, on fast food that's been proven to cause organ damage. Why aren't we demanding better quality as a nation? Why aren't we holding things to task? Why do we just think a vaccine or a pill is going to make it better and not take responsibility? And then I'm going to have people get on here, and I've had other people do it to me. Poor people can't afford good food. That's because of the current paradigm that we're under. Maybe if we focused on supporting the American farmers to be able to deliver more fresh food to pantries and to places that support people that need help right now, this would also help some of the issues. So rather than get down on people like me that are saying diet this and that and coming at us and going, well, you're part of the privileged. Actually, no, I'm a holistic healer. I gave up corporate a long time ago, and I have 4 rescue animals. And what I do for a living, which is pretty much off the map, supports everything. And I work very hard for what I have every single day. But people like to level the barrels at me and go, you're a privileged person. You have no idea who I am. You have no idea the work that I've had to do to get to where I am today, or how hard every day I still work. So before starting to do like hate stuff at people, promoting the holistic side, why don't we look at solutions to help everybody? So the people that do have means, and I know quite a few of them, and they still don't want to eat healthy, and they still want to drink booze, and they still want to eat stuff that creates inflammation in the body. Or they're like, organic's bullshit, this gluten problem's bullshit. Really? Because there's enough evidence out there that says it's not. If you're eating a healthy diet for the machine to bring down inflammation, your body will not be a good place for anything viral or bacterial or even fungal to germinate. So if you create a better situation within the body, you're going to be strong enough, even if you develop some minor symptoms, to be able to beat it off. But you have to eat the right things. You have to take the right things. And then for those that need support in this country, abso-freaking-lutely, I'm like pounding my hands. Absolutely, we should be demanding that if you're going to give millions and billions of taxpayer money for a vaccine to make big pharma even more fat, and oh, by the way, if you take the vaccine and have a reaction, you have no option to get restitution. You can't sue them. You can't sue the government. And you can't sue your corporations or the companies that you're working for currently for making you take the vaccine, or you can't come to work. So if this thing is so dang safe, why are they saying, well, maybe we'll connect the stimulus to taking the vaccine? Or your employer can absolutely force you to take the vaccine. Or to travel, we're going to force you to do this or that. Why does it have to be forced if it's so dang safe? And if it's so dang safe, why are there protocols in place so that people can't sue to get restitution if this thing does turn out to be dangerous because it hasn't followed the traditional pattern of safety protocols? Do the math, people. I mean, you have to ask these questions. You can't follow blindly. But whereas if we are more responsible and we stop just looking at making, the pharmaceutical companies allow them to do what they're doing and take an integrative approach, of course, they don't own the vitamin companies, so they don't like it. But it doesn't mean that anybody makes any less money. It doesn't mean that big business doesn't make billions of dollars. It just means that we're making the pie bigger because we're going to make more companies successful. And we should be able to allocate taxpayer dollars to help get better quality of food for people that need a hand and ferret out those taking advantage of the system, because that's a real problem. I've seen it in action, by the way. It's very disconcerting. Why not go after the big companies that are providing fast food and demand, the FDA demand that they make it better quality? Why, the vitamins, partner with some of the big vitamin companies, get more job creation that way, make their stocks go up, and deliver to those people that can't afford it, and give them the right instructions. If all these doctors are going to work for free in Washington, why not? They can mandate the blood work. Oh my God, the blood work is not that expensive to do. If they're doing all the COVID testing for free, why don't they add the blood work to it to find out what people need to be stronger? It's not that hard, and it's not rocket science. So please, we the people need to wake up, demand more, start writing your congressmen, your senators, your mayors, and demand that these protocols be put in place, which would dramatically reduce the strain going on in the ICUs and the emergency care units, because it would absolutely reduce the problem. And then you wouldn't have a healthcare system or insurance just getting blown to bits over a crisis that doesn't have to happen. And then masks actually become effective for those populations that need to be sequestered. Absolutely, those most at risk, until we figure it out more. And we figure it out more in an integrative way. So I hope this helps some people think. Gosh, people, be emotionally literate. Don't call people names. Don't call them lazy or stupid. Just find a way, and if you're on somebody else's page, find a way to not make them wrong, but make a suggestion. And if you see too much aggression on that page, then don't even make a suggestion, because that means they're not ready to hear you. And certainly when people get on my page, the block button has become a beautiful thing yet again for me. I try to present things to make people think, and then if somebody wants to go on the tack or has been laying in wait because they couldn't find a way at me for a lot of years, it's really fascinating how I've seen that happen, those spiritual attacks. I just block them because then they're not ready to hear it, so you don't need to be on my page. If you disagree with me, get off my page. Don't argue with me on my page because it's my page. And you're never going to convince me that your way is right when I live it every day. And I show that I live it every day. So thanks again for watching this Connected Live. I promise that tomorrow I'll do another one, and I'll do it on Baldur. Baldur is, I'll give a little bit of a teaser for tomorrow's Connected Live. Baldur is 9, and he had some health issues that we felt he needed surgery for. And his health dropped as I would talk to Doc over the phone about the surgery and a few other things. And what was really fascinating is I bring him into his appointment, and by the way, we're doing social distancing. You know, my doc is, holistic like I am and a DVM, but I still said to them, you're 65 and I'm 50. Let's just be safe. Have somebody come out and take him. So I use this amazing rubber leash that I used to train with 3 dogs ago, Jin. And so it can be wiped down. And I sprayed him with medical grade colloidal silver so that nothing was sticking to his fur. And I let her know. And I said, so when you look at him outside, just put your phone on speakerphone and we can talk through the appointment, because I really honestly disagree with people taking their dogs into vets and then the vet calling you after the appointment. Tell your vet you want to be on speakerphone and you'll talk through the appointment with them, because you're not going to give them a list of things. You want to talk to your vet because something may come up that needs to be discussed in the moment while they're looking at the dog. So ask for your vet to put you on speakerphone so they have both their hands and their assistants can focus on holding your dog. And then you can have a really present, conscious health overview with your dog or cat or your pet at the vet. That's what I did. It works really, really well. My vet and I had a great visit, even though I was outside and she was inside. And we laughed and we had all these amazing things happen with Baldur. So I really want to share that tomorrow, because I want to let you know that it's possible to have these things happen with your dog too, or your pet. So stay tuned for tomorrow. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay healthy, stay smart, stay positive, stay happy, stay peaceful. Happiness and misery is all a choice. And everybody's having a hard time. Everybody's in a money crunch. Everybody is struggling. Be kind. Be emotionally literate. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Communication skills and action steps and learning how to use open-ended questions and closed-ended questions to effectively communicate. Super important right now. And know when someone attacks you, 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with what's going on in their world. And so if you learn that, you will not go into emotional reactions with an attack. You will be calm and go, obviously, clearly this person is on the edge and is very fearful, which is usually when all the negative conversations start occurring, is with very fearful people, very angry people. Anger is fear, by the way, folks. So I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe, stay positive. If you need help, reach out, make an appointment, connectedenergyhealing.com. And thank you again for tuning in. Talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.